unchanged for the last 4 matches. Matt Adamson, Graham Mackay, Nalagalagi in the centres with Singh, Beckett, Alexander, Freeman, McNamara, Farah, Gilmeister, Castle, Cartwright and Gillard. And at Souths, become the entertainers, television and Friday night specialists. They start, and Penrith to bring it back. Alexander immediately asking Matthew Adamson to take it back to the 20-metre line. Farah is the dummy half. And this man is the lock forward, and that is Gillard. Just beyond the 22-metre line. Steady as you go. The first set of 6 and some fairly heavy tackling from the South Sydney forwards. Here's the man that they really welcomed back to the fold a few weeks ago, John Cartwright. He came back against Canterbury at Concord. Matthew Adamson shows his enthusiasm by taking it up the second time in this set, and it's been a fairly good one for them. They've reached the halfway line for Alexander to clear off the right boot, and across to pick it up is Mellor. Freeman puts the first ring of defence on him, and this big young South Sydney wing three-quarter Mellor plays it back for Trindle to spear it out for David Penner. Souths, of course, the last time we had them on television was their last game, in fact. A controversial win over Eastern Suburbs. And this is Tony Hermanson, Terry Hermanson, and now Goldspink, who played so well on that night I'm talking about. Centre of the ground, almost 40 metres out.
And both sides here just looking to establish something in the middle of the ruck. It was a very good set of 6 to begin for Penrith. Got a good kick away. Last now sees Craig Field try and find touch. Adamson coming across, lets it go over 20 metres out from his own line. So no mistakes. And both sides starting very confidently, looking to get their forwards, give the side some momentum.
Earlier tonight, President's Cup went to Souths over Penrith 22-10. And in the reserve grade, it was a 10-8 victory for Penrith again over South Sydney. This scrum with Duncan McRae just packing into his newfound profession, and fed by Freeman for Graham Mackay to come off that left wing and take it to a point about 25 metres out from his own line. So the second time in the game for Penrith to work from inside their own 20-metre zone, and a penalty. The first of the game, Tyron Smith involved in the tackle.
It was a very good tackle as well. It's going to count against his side penalty-wise, but the head jolted back. Tyron Smith really timed this one well on his opponent, Gillard.
Steve Roach, of course, has more than an interest as a commentator and viewer tonight. He is the President's Cup coach with South Sydney, and he's on the sidelines again.
Yeah, just watching Jason Bell. Bit of an ankle injury to him early in this match. He's been a bit slow to get back on side on a couple of occasions. Freeman
now with the ball across the face for Gilmeister. Trevor again feeling the scalpel of the Queensland selectors as Alexander lets one phase go and picks up the second. And Matthew Singh has taken in a beauty of a tackle. It was again Tyron Smith, and he's in that tackle as well, though he didn't make it. He knocked the player off balance for his teammates to secure. And now another penalty, and it goes with Penrith again.
Well, again, Graham Annesley very strict on the play the ball area. South Sydney players, you see Duncan McRae up around the neck area holding the jersey down of Matt Adamson. Too long for the referee's liking. Kick here for Greg Alexander, looking to put the first points on in this game.
You mentioned Trevor Gilmeister earlier on, feeling the brunt of the Queensland selectors' axe. He'd be keen for a big game tonight. I suppose the time's going to come sooner or later when he gets fed up, isn't it, really? He seems to be the man on the end of that every time Queensland struggling. He's the first forward to go. I'd expect him to put in a big one tonight to prove them wrong.
They've dropped him before and appeared to pay the penalty. Talking of penalties, this is one for Greg Alexander. He's only got a 51% success rate. It's one of Penrith's major problems, goal kicking. Not that they haven't got goal kickers in their team. Mackay kicks well, Girdler, but none of them have been online. And here's the kick from Greg. It's a good kick. First points in the game to Penrith. They lead South 2 points to nil after only 4 minutes. By Phil Gould and Penrith officialdom. Cartwright displays his skills, and then Farah also displays his, because he's a very good support player, Danny Farrar.
Looking forward to the hooker battle out there. Two converted number 9s in Danny Farrar and Duncan McRae really have made a great fist with the new hooking role. The last tackle here. Farrar finds Alexander, pressure on him, back to Adamson. The big left foot kick, not well placed. And Trimble takes the ball on the full. Unlucky not to get a penalty there. I thought Gary Freeman was inside the 10.
Yeah, I thought that was the case earlier on tonight when Freeman, I called him as having the first line of defence. Watch it again. Here's the kick, and have a look and see whether you think it's 10 metres. I certainly don't. And the crowd roars, and Annesley responds by giving a penalty to South now for an unrelated matter.
Oh, big hit there from Langy. He was inside the 10 for Annesley's liking. So maybe the penalty was just reward. Should have been awarded a couple of rucks earlier. He's failed to find touch here. Bad mistake. Adamson doing a great job getting to centre field. 15 out from his own line. A strong run once again.
Doniger, the tackler, together there with Jason Sinclair. Matthew Singh put away heavily by the Rabbits.
Tyron Smith in there again. Isn't he having a defensive game?
McNamara, about 28 metres out from the Penrith line. They lead 2-0, a penalty goal, which will come as a confidence booster for not only Greg Alexander, but for the Penrith club. Nice to get your first one over. Farrar, realising there was only one marker, decided to take him on, and then takes on 2 other defenders. And Danny Farrar reaches the 40-metre line as Gilmeister spears it away for Alexander to kick. Not a good kick by Alexander. Bouncing up for Trindle to come away from the 30-metre line, and then he's put away by Lee Malagalagi, over whom there seems to be some controversy about the pronunciation of his name. Mellor, 40 metres out from his line now.
Well, we've worked out the Lee bit anyway. We've got that sussed.
Well, that's good. I think we've done very well to get past the Christian name. This is Doniger now.
What did you have, Sterlo, for his surname?
I'm going to Langy as South take the ball over the halfway line, and you've actually added a couple of syllables the last time.
I'm actually halfway. Nalagi Langy.
Thank you, Gary, as it goes through Bell and finds Sinclair, and Sinclair is about 41 metres out from the Penrith line. This is the last tackle, and the Rabbits now with their captain, and he puts it low down in behind Graham Mackay, but Mackay read it well, didn't he? A high shot depicted that, and here goes the big fellow, Australian wing 3/4, and pulled down by Jason Bell after a very good run.
A magnificent run there from Graham Mackay, continuing the form he showed against Canberra. Stung by his dropping from State of Origin as Tyron Smith goes fairly high on that, Adamson.
He's going to be called out.
Fairly high. I think he's got him right around the melon.
Have a look at that innocent face, would you? Let's watch it in slow-mo, and there he goes. Bingo, straight around the jaw area. So Tyron Smith has been in everything tonight, and a couple of times has earned the displeasure of the referee. The tap taken by the Panthers, and this is Beckett brought down on the 40-metre line. What's he like, Steve, Tyron Smith, as a youngster to train and get along with?
No, he's a tremendous young fellow. His favourite word is yo. That's all he says. One of them new wave sort of blokes, mate.
Charles Bronson type. Or is it Stallone? Now it's Gilmeister, 30 metres out. Looking for runners. He was the fulcrum of absolute disorganisation for Penrith. Farrar plays it, then Alexander, now Freeman. Danger for South. Here's Singh. Gets it away from Nalalangi, and he's put it down. See, Sterling, I knew you would get me. I knew you would get me.
Oh, shame.
Once you sowed that seed of doubt.
A penalty here, and one that'll take some pressure off South. It was a shame you got caught, Ray, and a shame that Penrith didn't score there, because it was a beautiful backline move. Lovely little pass from Cartwright. Beautiful take from Singh behind his body. And the Langy lead, he'd have gone over the top of Daryl Trindle, you'd have thought, with Mackay in support. South's off the hook, 30 metres out.
So the Rabbits on their 30-metre line. 2-0 Penrith. Field with a lovely pass out for Jason Bell. Then he promotes David Penner. 2 metres from the halfway line. Back and across for Craig Field again. He's getting busy. Runs into a gap. Trindle looks for another gap. He finds it now. Taliai, what's he going to do tonight? Taliai, the man with the clenched fist and the swallow dive. puts it down, fairly orthodox for the try.
Well, Daryl Trindle took advantage of the great lead-up work from Jason Bell and Dave Penner and some ordinary defence. As he goes straight through there, a pretty ordinary attempt to tackle in the middle of the ruck. I thought Trindle would run away here and score under the post, but Beckett is very quick. Missed the tackle, but he stopped Trindle from going closer to the goal post. And finally, Talley came up in support.
I think it was very unselfish play here. We see Craig Field gives the ball to Trindle, that step back inside. He had all the opposition going the wrong way, but he saw Greg Alexander coming across. Maybe could have got there himself. He's made sure that his winger got over in the corner.
It's a pretty ordinary attempt.
He did put something together for it.
Well, we saw the dive last time that nearly hit the crossbar. This time, the swivelling of the hips, Ray.
That's called the Watusi, Pete.
Well, I've seen you do that after you sank the putt. It was about 10 years ago, but I knew it happened once.
Second try of the year for Via Talley. I see in a newspaper article today, he promised he'd have something in store for when he scored a try tonight. I thought it was missing, but it was there. Only 19 years of age. He's one of 7 to Tongan parents, and he's a bright young star, as is this man, Daryl Trindle. And he's even brighter at the moment because he steered it over the crossbar. Great kick from the sideline for Trindle. 12 gone, 6-2 the Rabbits. Penrith with the restart, welcome back. They're down 4 points now, converted try for the Rabbitohs, which came from the combination of Field and Trindle. Talley's name is in the record books, but gee, aren't they electrifying, these two youngsters?
They are, and Steve Roach alluded to it earlier. The Rabbitohs, just when you least expected, 70 metres they've gone there in that couple of tackles. Put one on Penrith just when they weren't prepared for it. Always looking to go wide, and here they go again.
Duncan McRae from dummy half. He let go with a very high pass, and Craig Field had to leap high to catch it, and then he gave a similar pass away. It was very much a case of the high ball.
We're starting to get some momentum now. Rabbitohs looking to move the ball around as Hermanson eats up some yards. It was a bad missed tackle. In fact, Trevor Gilmeister couldn't get to Craig Field. He was the man in the middle of the ruck, and just too much speed from this young man as he drives the ball down into the corner again, finds touch. He's going very nicely for the Rabbitohs.
How far will this kid go in rugby league, Peter? All the way?
He's got the ability and the potential to raise in a position that's probably the most hotly contested. And, you know, I've referred to him as the next Alan Langer. I think he's that good. Took me a little while to warm to him. We saw early in his career a little bit of, probably not the discipline that you wanted to see from a young player, but maybe that was just enthusiasm directed in the wrong way, in the wrong manner. And with Coach Ken Shine there, just putting the responsibility of captain on his head, I think that's done wonders for him as well. He's playing great.
Gillard is brought down about 30 metres out from his own line. A little bit of niggling out there, Blocker.
Yeah, plenty of verbal niggle at the moment between Gary Freeman and also Jason Sinclair. Let's not forget they used to be teammates at Balmain.
Yeah. Played now by Castle. And here's Matthew Adamson with a grubbing kick. He might... Oh, Trindle through precaution to the wind, and that's typical of this South Sydney side.
It's a game of inches, isn't it, as South immediately go wide again, a la Brisbane. The bad pass from Field in front of Mellor is a mistake on the first tackle, which he cannot afford. But Adamson was a little bit unlucky there. When he tried to get through the line after kicking the football, he was held up. He wasn't able to get there, as this pass well in front of the winger.
Well, when their confidence starts to flow high, that's the sort of thing South are likely to do. There's no containing it once it starts to overflow. Penrith now with an ideal opportunity to at least level the score. 30 metres out, centre to the ground for Graham Mackay, played to Freeman, given off for Alexander, and across the face for Malagalagi. And he's tackled and pulled down 25 out from the line. Back now, it comes with the dummy half, and on this occasion it's the centre three-quarter, or in fact it was Brett Gillard on the 20-metre line. Freeman. Alexander waiting for Matt Singh. He comes in. They run the angle with Matt Adamson. Adamson, the ball carrier, did well. Got a pass out the back. Knocked down by South and recaptured. So it'll be a knock-on, and it'll be most definitely a Penrith feed to a Penrith loose head.
Penrith have to make their minds up out here. We see Adamson popping that ball back. Alexander almost getting 6 again there. Got to make their mind up who's controlling things out there, Alexander or Freeman. There seems to be Bit of confusion out there. Both players love that role. One has to take over.
Gillard bumping away from Craig Field on the first occasion, who comes again. Mellor comes in to assist, and so too does Cabry. Mackay tries to use his bulk to get across the line. He's only 2 metres away from the try line. Danny Farah across now for McNamara. And still no gaining ground, but they're pressing very strongly, aren't they?
They've got a back line set back to the halfway line. That's where they hit now. Alexander involved. Short ball to Singh. Great tackle, Bell.
10 metres out from the line. Alexander a dummy half. This is Castle. And Castle forced back a couple of metres. Now he actually goes to ground about 3 metres out from the line. Back and away for Cartwright, the grubbing kick. And Mellor comes back from his wing to field it. So Souths leading 6-2, working away from their own line now. And who would you go to? Terry Hermanson, of course.
I thought they went the wrong way there, Penrith. They had numbers on the far side. John Cartwright was put under a lot of pressure by a defensive line that moved up very quickly. Unfortunately for the Panthers, the kick didn't get into the in-goal area, which is where it was aimed. As Tyron Smith on the fringe of the ruck gets his arms free, Sim takes him low. Gilmeister over the top.
Field now scurries away on the blind side. Gets a pass away. Did it come off the Penrith player? Talley-eye flick passes inside, not realising that they had 6 more tackles. Talley-eye realises his mistake now.
Well, John Cartwright is knocked on here. No South Sydney player within curious. Craig Field again in the middle of the ruck. Finds some space. That was touched by a Penrith player. Talley-eye, he's got David Penner in support. He sees him out of the corner of the eye. The pass well over the top. Now in cleaning up, there's the knock on from Cartwright. So it will be a South Sydney ball.
So the scrum packing near the halfway. Let's go down to Steve on the sideline.
Yeah, Phil Adamson, the ball player, coming on now for Troy Castle, who I thought was a little bit quiet in that opening stanza. He got his chance in first grade, just a little bit quiet from him.
Tyron Smith out in the back line for that particular play. Now Jason Bell. Field. Penner runs at Matt Singh and he takes him. He's not a big boy, Matt Singh, but he doesn't seem to have much trouble with defence. Doniger tries to unload. Farah comes up with it for Penrith. So that confidence I spoke about with South Sydney, as I said, when it overflows, it's pretty hard to stop it. This is Adamson now, right on the halfway mark. Adamson got up and had a little swing at Tyron Smith, so maybe Smith had another little niggle in there in that tackle. Played by Beckett. Farah off for Freeman, then across for Alexander. A pass that went a fraction behind Graham Mackay, and it took a bit of the zing out of him. He plays at 7 or 8 metres now into South territory as Alexander again works for McNamara. Cabry in the 11 jumper making the tackle. Farah offloading on the 5th through to Freeman, then to Alexander. The grubber kick looking for the outside backs who aren't coming all that quickly. And as the picture showed, it's with Trindle, and he's away from Freeman, comes to Farah, goes away from him, and Nalagalagi makes the tackle about 12 out from his own line, the South Sydney line. Jason Bell now. Don't know that he's totally recovered from that earlier ankle problem that Steve Roach addressed.
Gee, that's a good run there from Duncan McRae. Saw that the Penrith players were inside the 10 metres, ran to them. This slick out of dummy half. Gets out of there and Annesley again sees the Penrith defence on the far side. Too close to the play the ball area.
And it's that side of the field, isn't it? Matt Singh, Robbie Beckett. What are you seeing? Rabbitohs coming down there all night so far. It's going to be a long night unless they can tidy things up a little bit. Rabbitohs seem to be breaking the line every time.
3-3 the penalties. South Sydney's Hermanson playing it just inside the 40-metre line. This is Cabry. A gain of about 8 metres. And South in a good attacking position now as they reach the centre of the field. And Goldspink hits it up for another one. That takes them 24 metres out from the line. They're in the centre and Field takes them across to the left. This is Tyron Smith wrestling with Greg Alexander and Matt Singh. He's put down about 12 metres out from the line from Talley-eye. A long pass on the bounce for Bell, then Field, a dummy, then Goldspink. And Goldspink has held 20 metres out. This is the last tackle. South leading 6-2. Craig Field puts the grubbing kick in. Graham Mackay waiting for it and takes it back out towards the 20-metre line. Good work by Mackay. He's been kept busy tonight.
He's been their best player, Graham Mackay. His positional play was outstanding there, dropping in behind the line, not for the first time this evening. Crayfield going to the line, but you could already see that Mackay dropped back. Maybe the long ball to Mellor was the play there. A lot of space between the two wingers. As South strike for the ball, I thought he had every reason to. The referee rules that McRae was standing, leaning over the tackle player. Let's just have a look at this. Well, I can't see why he hasn't got every right to strike at the ball there. It was placed in front of him.
I certainly can't disagree with you. The ball is on the ground. You're entitled to strike for it. In fact, it was a pretty ordinary play, the ball. He deserved to have it raked off him, to tell you the truth. McNamara. Halfway line, Danny Farrer. 6-2 South leading, if you just joined us on Friday Night Football on the 9 Network. As I said earlier, a weekend of overtime for Gus Gould as Freeman gets it to Phil Adamson, flicks a pass out for Nalagalagi, but it's forward. But it might just be a warning serve to South Sydney. You've got to take Adamson downstairs, but more importantly upstairs.
Yes, he's one of the best ball players, young ball players in the competition. Some of the passes we've seen this year have been Arthur Beecham affairs. Much more selective in his passing. That one just a touch forward. I suppose, Badge, in those positions, you're going to throw them more times than not when you see the opportunity.
Well, I think the pass was on, and I think looking at it from here and even on the replay, I'm not convinced it was forward.
This is Mellor now. 40 metres out from the line. Now with Cabry. As I said, a smallish crowd in on a cold night in Sydney as Doniger promotes it across, and Trindle gets involved with Craig Field, and now Jason Bell. Bell just given a little bit of a facial there by Gary Freeman. And now Goldspink crashes the ball into Penrith's area. And he's a pretty strong young colt, held there by 3 players. They couldn't put him down. Hermanson says, give me a taste of it. And now Cabry. And the last is with us now. 35 out from the Penrith line, and South go quickly to the left. And here's Jason Sinclair, who hasn't had a great deal of opportunity. Comes back across the ground, the floating pass going into touch, though. So it eventuated into nothing.
It's always a tough pass to throw that one. When you're going forward, your winger is almost flat on the spot. And there goes that ball. We spoke about one of those last week.
No, you're not going to hit us with the lateral pass with the physics and Newton's law.
Well, it's probably a bit above you still. Yeah. I'll just keep it simple. The pass.
The pass from Brisbane wasn't forward last week.
Oh, wow.
Exactly.
Tell you what, you got 11 out of 10 for loyalty, though. It was a great effort by Gary Belcher last Friday night in commentary. Gilmeister. And that's a good piece of driving defence by Cabry in particular, and Hermanson. Now for Alexander, shows them the ball as if to kick, flicks it out for Gilmeister. Freeman makes a knock on of it. Well, they just got a little bit fancy there, Penrith.
Well, their 3 most experienced players got muddled up. The flick pass from Alexander to Gilmeister. Gilmeister handing off to Gary Freeman, who he was away before the ball had arrived. Centre field. Just over 15 minutes left on the clock, and South Sydney, you've got to say, are the better side because they look more confident with the football.
Field now, choosing which way to go. He had a mile of time. But Tyron Smith playing in the backs at the moment. Jason Bell now, from the scrums, that is. 42 metres out from the line. Doniger. Cartwright up the top. McNamara underneath. And Duncan McRae looks for his runner. It is Cabry this time. 35 out. That's where they are on the Penrith end of the park. Sydney Football Stadium. Field. Bell. The runaround is on, but then he uses him as a decoy, and it's gone out for Taliai. He comes back into the centre. Jason Bell. Jason Bell supports down the centre of the ground, and the Rabbitohs are in again. Aren't they good to watch?
Oh, vintage stuff there. Great ball movement. And it all started with the run around. You see here the ball goes out. As we freeze play there, you see the fact that Craig Field has come around Jason Bell. That's thrown this player out, Matt Singh. It also allows the man outside Matt Singh to get the advantage. Beautiful run there from Dave Penner. That pass must have been suspect. Look forward to me. Taliai coming back to where the support players should be. And beautiful hands from Jason Bell. Scores a great try. Beautiful backline movement, but started off because they put a run around on. That put the defence in two minds.
And the other thing in South's favour there was a limping Greg Alexander. He was the player caught out wide at outside centre. He'd pushed Matt Singh in. He's hobbling around at the moment. I don't think we're going to see him on the park for too much longer.
Well, if there was a question mark on the pass to Taliai that Peter pinpointed, the touch judge, and you would have seen it on the pictures, was absolutely in line with it. Trindle makes no mistake. Souths capitalise. They're looking good after 26, leading the Panthers 12-2. Cabry bringing it back to the 20-metre line.
He's in all sorts of trouble out there, Greg Alexander. He's dropped into the second line, trying to marshal the troops defensively. As that kickoff was taken, you could see that he was hobbling around and try and run it out. Only 13 minutes to half-time. They really need him out there.
Souths very much in the ascendancy here. David Penner played a vital role in that previous try. Goldspink forwards laying the foundation for the backs. Goldspink, Cabry, Doniger, Hermanson in the main. Now Field dropping it into that corner once more. The bouncing ball over the head of Matt Adamson. Off his own line he comes then, and Craig Field takes him head on with Miller's help.
Good chase once again from the Rabbitohs, and the Langy comes up, gets involved. It's a good ploy to kick the football from two passes out. The very fact that you've moved the football, the defence has to come up. Oh, big defence again. That's Taliai on Singh. Knocked him around. But by running the football before you kick it, the defence has to come up, and it's obviously further for them to turn and have to chase.
Through now from Alexander, and away for Phil Adamson, lurking out wide. Gets a pass away, taken by Mellor. He touched it, then regathered, and now is able to get it away for Freeman to intercept. So tit for tat.
Well, the intercepts are on, aren't they, when both these sides are deciding to throw the ball around. Freeman finally the man on the spot that's got Penrith off the hook.
They had a very big scoring game the last time they met here in round 13 last year. 36-26, I think it was. A break now made by Beckett. Beckett's away. Look at Field. Field coming across, but Beckett, he makes it in the far corner. So the Panthers come back.
Probably their quickest man, and he's very happy about it. Did it all himself, Robbie Beckett. Some ordinary defence from South Sydney left some holes. And remember, this was after the double intercept. Gary Freeman throws the ball to Singh, who finds Beckett coming back inside. Goldspink didn't come across. McRae was a long way back, just didn't have the speed. Although Craig Field is very quick, so too is Robbie Beckett. That was a beautiful try. Goldspink and McRae were caught out by not just taking a few extra steps in safety.
1 from 1 for Greg Alexander. This much more difficult. He's almost on the touch line. Got it away nicely. And straight as an arrow. Tremendous kick for Greg Alexander. Half an hour gone in the game. 12-8 to South. And this was young Beckett's try.
Well, there you see the number 8 Goldspink hadn't come across. McRae had already gone back over red play. And once he was through the front line, the only cover was the halfback coming across much too late. A player of Beckett's speed. He's got green fields in front. He scored the try.
Trindle with the restart. Let's take a sideline comment from Steve Roach.
Yeah, well, it's South Sydney's own fault, their poor mistakes. But look, Penrith have lifted since Phil Adamson's come onto the field. A lot more of their players are willing to run with the football.
They're on the 20-metre line now. And this is Phil Adamson, who's able to bust them and pull down from behind by David Penner. A quick play the ball for Farah to see Matthew Adamson now take another 15 metres. Now they're in opposition territory, and now it's Penrith's turn to dish it out to South Sydney. Farah taken on the 30-metre line by Taliai together with Penner. Freeman calls it. Pushes it along for Alexander. Then he promotes his captain, Cartwright. Cartwright was looking to pass. The runners arrived too late. It's still not too late for Penrith, though. Alexander gets busy. Nalagalagi turns it back inside. Mellor, he comes up with the ball for the Rabbits. Is it any wonder that that scoreline from last year was there? 36-26. They really throw caution to the wind, these two sides, when they're on television at night time, so it appears.
A bit unfortunate there for Penrith. Langi, whatever he's called, and certainly been running hard with the footy. That sort of pass is not needed there. Really wasn't on. He had his hands, he didn't have his hands free. So South resumed their attack.
Donegan now. Fifth tackle, centre of the ground on his own 40-metre line. And Craig Field puts it down towards the sideline and finds it. Deliberate kick. Finding the line 30 metres away from the Penrith try line.
I don't think you'd be entirely happy with that kick. Really, if you're going to find touch, you want to find it much closer than 30 metres out from your opponent's line. It does give the Rabbitohs a chance to get set in defence. Defence, there's not much defensively between these two sides. The gap of 20 points, it's over 12 rounds, and even less for the four. So for and against between them, they're both fairly impressive sets of statistics. Very little between the sides and getting the ball over the line and stopping the football.
Just starting to have a bit of trouble with some of the big men, Graham Mackay and Phil Adamson. And a penalty goes to Penrith. It's against the South's tacklers, I feel, for not getting off the man, and you can see the pictures telling the story. So the Panthers now with the tap right on the halfway mark. And Mackay again used to ramrod it up. Freeman now standing back and letting his forwards take it ahead. McNamara puts a dent in them. 32 metres out. Freeman again stands back and lets the forwards do the business. Gilmeister comes across the back, and then Phil Adamson pops a pass inside for his brother Matthew. He's tackled 7 metres away from the south line. Penrith looking good now. This is Phil Adamson, the bouncing ball for Freeman. And Freeman allowed to play it. No knock on there. Danny Farah gets into dummy half. Greg Alexander has a piece of the action. John Cartwright gets a ball away. It's gone out the back for McNamara. Over the head of Matt Singh, taken by Beckett, who's taken by Taliai. Fifth tackle back on the 20-metre line. That play went horribly wrong. The kick in the air is a shocker. They go up for it. It comes down off Matt Adamson. And eventually the referee comes in, calls a halt, and rules the turnover.
Well, that probably shows how Penrith play is going. A lot of good stuff followed by some pretty ordinary efforts towards the end of their six. There's a great bust here. Big Phil Adamson again. Why wouldn't you trail him? The inside pass back inside to Matt, backing up. Went wide again, but the kick on the last was an ordinary one. Some very nice combination between Greg Alexander and John Cartwright on the fringe of the ruck, causing South some problems.
Tyron Smith now. Just on that break made by Phil Adamson, I'll tell you what, it was a pretty ordinary attempt at tackle by Jason Sinclair. Now they come across the ground with those very accurate passes, and then the ball goes to ground for Penrith to accept 40 metres out from South's line. Gilmeister tries to get a pass away, but Gary Freeman got himself between the passer and the receiver. That was good fortune for Penrith as Gillard plays it, and Matt Adamson up in the forward zone from fullback. 35 out from the line.
It's the Adamson boys trying to lift their team at the moment. Matt Enfield getting heavily involved. Simply finding a few breaks around the edge of the ruck.
McNamara playing it. Freeman calling it. That's him. And now Alexander, who seems to have recovered. Cartwright into space. Throws the dummy. And Hoss Cartwright, the captain, he gets a try. Off with him, and he came dressed like the typical rugby league forward for golf. A pair of desert boots and a pair of those shorts that the stubbies and the desert boots.
Gotcha too.
2 from 2 for Greg Alexander. He can't quite the boot. The kick by Alexander is a beauty. 4 tries in the game. Souths with Trindle kicking off and Freeman getting under it, sending Gillard back. Gillard met on the shoulder of Doniger. Good tackle. Farah offloading for Phil Adamson. I know we talk about impact players, Gary Belcher, but sometimes I wonder about players being used as impact players when you see the skills and the lift that Phil Adamson has given them.
Yeah, but he was brought on at the right time, wasn't he? The South defence, it was very good early. They didn't look like cracking at all. He's come onto the field. Phil Gould choosing the right moment to put him out there. And since he's been on, he really has had that impact that the coaches wanted. He still looks good every time he carries the ball.
Alexander tackled late by Trindle. Mellor gets under it. We're very close to half-time as Mellor throws the pass for Craig Field to get around and then pass on for Talley-Eye. Oh, Craig Field, he's a brilliant player. And South, they just know one way to play. And you're watching it tonight, but the Panthers, they've served notice that they're not going to cop it lying down. In fact, they were down, but they've come back to lead. 14-12, Penrith coming up to the break. From Duncan McRae over for Field. Put down by Tyron Smith. The first knock-on will be played, but I doubt that they'll have time for any of it.
Well, it's gone from side to side. 3 tackles, that long ball. That being held there by Tyron Smith. There's a little opportunity there for his teammates.
Smith very keen to be in that semi-final. Come the end of August, early September. Souths are in the top 5 at the moment. Penrith are trying to get there. Just inside the 20-metre line. And Paul Mellor coming in off his wing, taking that play. Doniger. 2 tries apiece then in the first half. And 3 goals from 3 attempts for Greg Alexander. 2 from 2 for Daryl Trindle. So everything's been 100% accurate off the boot tonight. And 14-12 Penrith leading as we get underway with the early stages of the second half. And Craig Field puts the kick down, but it's an ideal kick really for Matthew Adamson. It was aimed straight at him. And he had a very big first half, Matthew Adamson. We keep talking about his brother's impact when he came on, Phil, but Matthew had been there since the start and doing very, very well.
He set the trend in the first set of 6, didn't he? He touched the ball twice from the kickoff, that first set of 6, and that's one of the important things that players like to do, is to get involved as early as possible, make a tackle or get a touch of the football. He put himself in a position to do exactly that.
Gilmeister working with Nala Gilagi on a fairly narrow blind, but there's plenty of personnel there. And the Fijian plays the ball close to the halfway mark as it comes over. Oh, Gillard was taken by Doniger, but then miraculously came away to gain another 3 or 4 metres. And on the last, it's Penrith now looking for and finding Greg Alexander, who pilots the kick down to the try line. And Daryl Trindle, he comes away. Talley-Eye with him on the outside, but very good defence by Beckett in the main, and Singh coming in afterwards. Now Talley-Eye, he takes the second play, 32 metres out from his own line on the broadcast camera side of the ground. This is Goldspink, third play, 38 metres out from the line. Hermanson with the 4th, nearly to the halfway. It's been a pretty good set. Field runs to the defence line. Sinclair's having an unhappy night. And Penrith come up with the ball 5 metres into South territory.
He dropped his head after that miss there. Probably not all his fault there, Jason Sinclair. I think he's one player who, as you said, he's been fairly quiet in the first half. If he can get out of that rut, become good, it'll be better for the Rabbitohs in the second half.
That's the second tackle for Penrith now. They're 30 metres out. McNamara on the 3rd. Just outside the 20-metre line. And almost in the centre of the park for Freeman to give off. And then Alexander waits for Matthew Adamson to angle back. And then he stands and offloads. And then it's Alexander. Sees an opening. Tries to put Gilmeister through it. He gives it to Farah. Farah's tackled. And this is the 5th now. 10 metres out from the line. It goes across for Gilmeister. Then for Cartwright. A long pass out for Matthew Singh. Beckett for the corner, and he's in again. Beckett gets in to score again. Excellent promotion by Penrith. Himself a very, very difficult task here to keep the 100% record intact. He's on the sideline again. And this time he's short and a touch to the left end. Frittering away what was a very good lead in the first half. And now they're trailing by 6 as Gillard is tackled 20 metres out from his own line. Farah putting it onto the chest of Phil Adamson. They've got themselves 35 metres away from their own line now. This is McNamara.
He's playing very well, Danny Farah. Gary Belcher pointed out at half-time that he'd run the football a fair bit. And he's run it on the blind side to great effect. Even though he picked up Adamson on that occasion, they made an easy 15 or 20 metres. So he's very aware of where they need to be going.
Freeman waiting and finding Matthew Adamson, and he gallops inside the 30-metre line and pull down, losing the ball. Adamson looked at Annesley as if to say, did you see that? And I don't know whether Annesley originally called it. He may have taken a call eventually from his touch judge.
Well, it looked as though he lost the ball cold here, Adamson. He had support on the outside, but I know Phil Gould has told him in the past that if he's in the clear to go for it, yes, Craig Field did pull the ball out. South's a bit lucky there, and that's why the reaction is from Adamson.
Well, Annesley didn't agree with the fact that Field pulled it out. He gave South the feed. And 22 metres out from the South Sydney line, that's where they're at. On the far side of the ground, Cabry. Penrith looking very slick. Change in the South's personnel. I see Mark McGaw out there, blocker.
Yeah, Mark McGaw's out there. He's gone on to the wing, and Paul Miller has moved into the centres. And as you said, an unhappy night for Jason Sinclair, but I'm sure he'll regroup and come back later on in the match.
Knock on called again by Graham Annesley.
Yeah, Golspin throwing the ball back here. Danny Farah caught the football and then looked to see where he was going to head, and that allowed the ball to come out. South's getting another set of 6 here. A bit of breakdown in communication at times for South as Bell goes around Penner, but well read in defence by Alexander.
Penner a dummy half. Cabry right on the halfway mark. McRae, Field, Hermanson. He's going to be missed by South Sydney. Hermanson. And now Goldspink gets a very good play of the ball and good service from his dummy half. 35 metres out from the line, McRae, a diving pass on the field. Then for Bell. Bell comes back. Is put down by McNamara, and Danny Farah comes up with the ball. Field makes an appeal to Annesley, but definitely Penrith's ball. And now Nalagalagi. Mackay comes in field, steps away from a tackle. And 45 metres out from the South line, he's made to play it. Freeman, Alexander, Gilmeister. Gilmeister about 38 metres out from the line. Tackled by Duncan McRae. Gillard coming from the blind, working to the open. He's pulled down by Goldspink in number 8. Now Farah, Freeman. Across for Matt Singh. Taken in the defence of David Penner and also Craig Field. The last tackle. Beckett the dummy half. Freeman. Alexander for the kick. And it's a chip and chase for Alexander. Darryl Trindle read it well. Alexander tried to take him twice before Trindle escaped the clutches of him and was taken by Singh. And a penalty goes to the Rabbits.
Oh, gee, milked that one, did Darryl Trindle. I didn't think there was any doubt he was tackled the second time. Alexander probably took it a little bit casual here. Thought he had hold of Trindle, who got up and got it going again. Then when that tackle is committed, I don't think Darryl Trindle's got every right to get up and fall over.
Well, that's been a tremendous piece of football or acrobatics by by Matthew Adamson. The kick failing to find touch, and Adamson dangling over the sideline has kept it in play. This is it. And totally legitimate stuff. So Penrith with the football, and really they should be in a defensive pattern now. Freeman out the back, finding Phil Adamson. Then across for Mackay, fairly luckily. Freeman now, just short of the halfway mark. No markers. Few things not going right for South now. And the penalty goes to Penrith to compound it.
A lot of frustration creeping in here. Not really there from Mark McGaw. We saw the play the ball a moment ago. Just off out of camera shot, Graham Mackay came rushing in. A bit of a South Sydney player. Getting heated, Craig Field himself involved in that as well.
A good sign there from Greg Alexander. Just cooling the troops down. Gary Freeman got the penalty for them. So Mackay gets involved now. They've got their nose in front here, Penrith, and they can really put a nail in the coffin here by scoring points. Even a field goal would be important.
29 minutes of the match remaining. McNamara 12 metres out. Farah across and then switches it back. I thought to the blind, but it was for a run up the centre for Matthew Adamson. And he's having a superb game, continues to have that. Now it's Freeman. Alexander holds it back. Second man for Nalagalagi. Then Singh. The flick pass for Beckett. And that was too much for him because he was on his way. Not the lad's fault, really. It was all just very rapid-fire stuff. Watch it. And eventually he puts it down. 10 metres out from their own line now, the Rabbits. 12-9 the handling errors. South on the wrong side of that stat. 18-12. They're on the wrong side of that as well, the scoreboard. Taliai comes in from the wing. 6-5 the scrums to South. Hermanson. One of the finds of the year, really, Terry Hermanson. McGaw. When I say that, maybe it'd be better put, but in 1994 he's been quite outstanding.
One of the losses of the year as well, isn't he? Headed to East next year. Not too happy about it at South, but apparently the offer just too good to refuse.
Trendall now. 42 metres out from the South line, and I get the feeling that Craig Field and Darryl Trendall decided to switch on again. Matt Singh on the end. Well, he went in defence, but he came off second best as the ball is kept low and finding the line. 9 metres away from the Penrith line now. Trendall the kicker.
They've hurt here, Matt Singh, and you can see why. He's got the head in the wrong position to make the tackle. Could have almost been penalised for staying in the play the ball area. Of course, he got out in time. And eventually, Trindle found touch 10 metres out. You would expect Penrith to get the football here and again to settle things down with a good set of 6. Not looking to make any mistakes in their own territory.
This is Beckett, scorer of 2 Penrith tries. Nalagalagi, just outside the 20-metre line. Farah, now Cartwright. Good hammering defence over the top from Cabry. Made a lot easier, though, because the man's legs had stopped under the tackle of Jason Bell. Phil Adamson palming his way, fending his way clear. You see, Souths aren't putting him away. He should have been put away then. This is McNamara improving and then losing it. Freeman complains. He asks the question, how can that be a knock-on?
The reason it was a knock-on was because the ball fell forward towards the opponent's goal line. You see the ball pops out there as he's trying to get the ball loose. Your first priority, of course, in defence is to stop the football. And really, when Phil Adamson takes the ball up, you shouldn't be bothering about anything else but wrapping their arms around the football so that he can't release and pass.
Hermanson and Cabry have come off. Mestrov and Lyons have gone on for South. 18-12 down, 25 minutes to go. Field linking up with Bell, then the run around. Mellor out in the centres. Field with his second run around in the same play. And when he gets busy, Trindall normally gets busier. 41 is Mark Lyons. 30 metres out from the Penrith line. Trindall. Doniger. Penrith at close quarters in defence. McRae. Let's not forget that McRae is also quick out of dummy half, as is Trindall. Now Goldspink. They've hammered the ball to within 5 metres of the line. The last tackle and the penalty goes. Raked out in defence by Penrith. I wonder, did Annesley think of the sin bin?
I'm sure he must have thought about it. Almost a professional foul there. Side was under enormous pressure. It was the last tackle, but they had numbers to the right, South Sydney. Goldsmith making the big charge there. Gillard going low. He's the man that incurs the wrath of the referee. The ball knocked out there. Annesley on the spot. Now the tough decision, I suppose, block as to whether to go for the try, 6 down, or to kick for goal. They've gone for the latter.
Well, I think I'd go for goal too. But good move by Kenny Shine, the South Coast, putting 2 fresh forwards on, Mestrov and Lyons. Look, you can do all the razzle-dazzle you like out in the back line. You must go forward first. And I think that's why he's put them on.
Really, that was the reason they got on top early. The forwards were laying a good foundation for them. Trindle with the penalty. No problems for him. And 18 points to 14 in favour of the Panthers. 56 minutes gone. 4 points the margin in favour of the Panthers. .40 is Tony Mestrov for Souths. And this is Mark Lyons. Good defence by Gillard. McRae out from dummy half. Farah able to put him away. Mark Lyons in trouble. Fittler out of the match because of state of origin. He watches on, and there'll be millions around the world watching with him on Monday night when we bring you the exclusive pictures from Brisbane's Lang Park. The last. Field dancing one way, coming back the other, kicks for himself. Freeman goes back, the bounce of the ball, and Matthew Adamson has been taken by Craig Field. I thought he may have copped a knee in the head, but fortunately no damage done as Graham Mackay finds a bit of an opening and tries to put Matthew Adamson further down the ground.
The involvement of those 2 big men has been outstanding all night. Mackay has beaten the first tackler on every occasion. The amount of times that Adamson has touched the football from fullback is, well, it's great. The involvement is there, and that's what the coach requires. Played
by Phil Adamson. Farah to the left for Gillard. Beat the tackle of Donegan. McRae had to come from behind and make it complete. 18-14, the Panthers lead. Farah, long ball for Gilmeister, then for McNamara. 25 out. The last. What will Brandy Alexander do with it? To the air. We haven't had a great frequency of bombs in the game. McGaw went up and no contest really. Trindle, long pass. Craig Field across for Taliai. This is the thing that I think people have come to like about South Sydney. It doesn't really matter whether they're in front or behind. They will throw the long ball. They'll try and score a try from on their own goal line.
I know, I like it, Ray. One of the great attractions is John Cartwright goes fairly high, but no damage done on goals. Is to attack when the opposition don't expect you to. South Sydney there, they threw 2 long cutout passes on their own line. How many teams in the competition are prepared to take that risk?
On the last now. The kick down the ground for Craig Field, or for Duncan McRae, as it comes down and bounces inside the 20-metre line. Taken back by the Panthers. Beckett, possessed of brilliant speed. He's exhibited that twice tonight. 32 out from his own line.
One gets the feeling Penrith are looking for that the game breaker, or the man who would normally finish the game off for them, and that's Brad Fittler. Of course, he's not out there. That man Adamson. You mentioned Graham Mackay. We're looking for work. Trevor Gilmeister's been involved all night. Certainly like to wrap this game up early.
The halfway line. Freeman. Phil Adamson. Again able to keep those arms free, and they continue to not put him away, and the penalty goes to the Panthers.
Yeah, South Sydney inside the 10 metres, and I guess the one thing, Badge, you're talking about putting this game away early. That's one thing you just can't do against South Sydney. I wouldn't be prepared to concede defeat in their team if they were trailing by 10 with 5 to go. We've seen it before. I do get the feeling that if Penrith can get the next try here, even South Sydney's great spirit might be well and truly dented.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I'd agree with you there, Sturlo. Every time they get the ball in, you said last time, they're on their own try line. They're prepared to throw it wide. They can score from anywhere. Plenty of quick guys in their side, and particularly Field and Trindle. And they do have the football. Those two guys at the moment, they're coming alive.
Penrith now with something they've worked on. And this is Cartwright getting a pass out. Nalagalagi is tackled 10 metres out from the line. And Penrith with still a few tackles left on this set. Freeman across. Gillard is with it. Gillard is put away 11 metres out, right in the centre of the ground. The Panthers a chance to shut South Sydney out of it as Gilmeister turns it in, and Souths have come up with it. Goldspink plays it. South will probably stretch it quickly. They do that. Calliope down the wing, but the defence is equal to him. Singh and Beckett make the tackle. Quick play the ball. Trindle gets it on. Doniger runs it to the halfway line. Second tackle for the Rabbits. Across now, and a long ball by McRae, finding Craig Field out wide. And Field trying to shrug off tackles on the 40-metre line. Bell. Lyons wrestled to a halt there by McNamara and Farah. The fifth tackle is with us. Trindle a dummy half. McRae, grubbing kick. And that finds the line 15 metres out from the Panthers line. 18-14. 61 minutes gone.
Yes, that means under 20 minutes to go now, and the crowd here getting a little bit restless. Of course, it's a South Sydney home game as Craig Field gets some attention there for what appears to be cramp. They've bayed on a couple of occasions for the referee to penalise Penrith for being inside the 10. A crowd of just over 12,000 here have braved a pretty cold night, but they've been warmed by some great entertainment from these two football teams.
Alexander using Matthew Adamson once more. And now Alexander from dummy half, using Freeman and then Nalagalagi. Interesting to note that Alexander's frequency at dummy half, as with Darryl Trindle. They've both risen. Souths get a lot of impetus from Trindle, particularly going to dummy half, and that combination with Field comes to the fore. Well, look at Phil Adamson. That is an immaculate pass away for Matt Singh to reach the halfway line. And Penrith on the attack again, and in no small way due to this man, Phil Adamson. 35 metres out, the last tackle is with us. Penrith's Farah on to Freeman, then Alexander straightens it, chips for himself, fielded by Mestrov. Souths go onto the attack. Gilmeister came off second best as he took on Mestrov. Trindle, Mellor, playing in the centres now. Big enough to play in the forwards. Started on the wing in this game. Magor has come onto that wing position. That's him with it now. And Magor tries to tread over the top of them. Flick passes out the back. Goldspink looks at it. McRae dives on it. Bell is with it now. Gets in between Gilmeister, over the halfway, over the 40. Beats Matthew Adamson. Runs away from Gillard. Oh, Jason Bell! Jason Bell! That's a magic moment in your career. What a try! What a try!
Unbelievable. He's gone through the entire Penrith team here from nothing. It was scrambling play. The ball was going nowhere. Finally found the arms of Jason Bell. Mark Magor, you'll see here, spins one out the back. Goldspink waits for somebody else to dive on, and eventually it's flicked up to Jason Bell. Now, there's got to be a problem here in the middle of the Penrith ruck. Too much speed for Trevor Gilmeister, got on the outside. Adamson didn't help much. And then just a very ordinary miss there from Brett Gillard. Maybe Matt Adamson and Gillard got in each other's road there, trying to come up with the tackle on Bell. A little bit like Beckett's try in the first half. He did it all himself. You
said it, Ray. You got it right there. He's going to remember this for a long time. He's got South back to the lead. Of course, they've got to kick this goal. They've got a couple of ordinary attempted tackles there. And Bell, he's pretty happy about it. Why wouldn't he be?
Oh, that's just marvellous for Jason Bell. More importantly for Souths. And now that decision to take the penalty at 18-12 has come home to be the right one. Ken Shine gives some instructions. Trindle from right in front. It's low, but it's there. 20 points to 18. These Rabbits on Friday Night Football, they will not lie down. And here's the try on replay again.
He's always been a great runner in traffic, as Jason Bell. See there, he pushes off Gillard. That was a very ordinary attempt there, the last line of defence. And now, I guess the important thing is that we have 14 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock. So ample time for both teams to go on and win this game. But Penrith, they look like they really had the ascendancy, but it's been South Sydney showing more zing in their play in the last 10 minutes.
Hermanson comes onto it with newfound energy. Great defence, though. Phil Adamson and Carl McNamara. Mestrov, a handoff for Mellor. He gets between Cartwright and Mackay. Here comes Matt Adamson. He steps inside him. He goes to the centre. Duncan McRae. Duncan McRae. Get in the queue. There are spoils there to be had. Oh, South Sydney. The entertainers. I think maybe they own the tag now.
Well, they'll own the tag of being semi-finalists if they continue in this vein. We see here Mellor just taking advantage of some ordinary defence out wide. So he frees it there. You can see that Graham Mackay is over there by himself. Look at the space here that Mellor gets to run into because the South Sydney players on the inside have run up too quickly. As play continues there, John Cartwright's the inside man, doesn't have the speed, but just ordinary defence. Comes back inside Matt Adamson, and there, well, Jason Bell could have got his third, but Duncan McRae just about got this diving down to a fine art because they're getting plenty of practice.
Mellor, when he made this break here, half expected to be tackled by John Cartwright, but no chance. Duncan McRae had the hand in the air, calling for it all the way. The Rabbitohs away to a good one. It'll be tough to peg back from here, Ray.
24 points to 18. And magnificent effort in the last 10 minutes or so, and Darryl Trendall gets an easy one. 26-18, Gus Gould. I heard him talking on radio the other day. He said, there's nothing I enjoy more of a Friday night than sitting home and watching South Sydney entertain me. But he said, next Friday's a problem. And it's proving that way for Gus Gould and for the Penrith Panthers as Hermanson takes it out to the 20-metre line and Gilmeister is off. That is Mestrov, is it? And now the pass for Mark Lyons. Souths have got some benefit of these two new forwards. Doniger, 45 out from his line. And that is Mestrov. The last now, McRae for Craig Field to punch it down into the corner. What they need is a good line of defence down the ground. It's there. And Matthew Adamson is put away just outside the 20-metre line.
I expect to see some desperate play here for Penrith. There's danger of getting further out of touch from the top five. They'll come into their own here, throw the ball all over the park, and maybe we'll see a South Sydney try. Similar to one from the Panthers now.
Last 7 encounters between Penrith and Souths have been won by Penrith. I think the last win over Penrith that Souths had was in 1987.
With the impetus that South Sydney have at the moment, that's going to change as Beckett back on the inside. Well taken by Tyron Smith. With Trevor Gilmeister off, 38 is Jody Gall for Penrith. He's on the last tackle. Alexander kicks straight down Trindle's throat. Bad kick there. And he brings it back easily, almost to where the kick was taken.
Trindle now. Penner using Talley-Eye. And a good diving tackle by Beckett brings him to a halt. Hermanson wedges the attack over the halfway line. Driving stuff from Hermanson. Good support there from Mestrov. Lions now. 106 points they've scored against one another in their most recent 2 matches. Craig Field's bomb is not a good one. Up and down in the one place. Matthew Singh played at it. Didn't come down with the football. He came down empty. And Lions to play it at 26-18 to Souths. Mestrov takes them on behind to play the ball. 9 3/4 minutes remaining. McRae, Trindle, Hermanson, Donninger's outside him. Hermanson takes a barrage of Penrith defence, 3 of them in fact. McRae again, out from dummy half, and pulled down there by Cartwright. Goes again, McRae! Oh, so close. A metre from the line. Hermanson a dummy half, spears it back, Trindle goes for the drop goal, and it's just wide. So back to the 20-metre line for the restart.
Well,
26-18.
Why not try and take the point there? They're 8 in front. 9 would have been a little bit better. Still now, Penrith have to score twice, and they've got to do it quickly. There's under 9 minutes to go in this game.
Gillard. Freeman. Alexander. From 5 metres or so out from his own line.
He's lost the football there. South ball.
What's Annesley going to do? He's given the penalty.
Well, Alexander had the ball in his right hand, desperately trying to keep the ball alive. And I'd say that Annesley has got a ruling there from his far touch judge. There you see poor ball security. Looked like he just dropped it cold, but I'd say the touch judge on the far side said there was a hand that helped it.
I think Jerry Donninger got his hand in the way and pulled it out, then dived on it. That touch judge the only one-sided.
Mackay. Penrith just making a change.
As Mark Bell comes on in 16, a noted try scorer. Playing reserve grade at the moment for Penrith.
Freeman now working to a fairly wide blind side, and this is Phil Adamson. Mark Bell has gone on for Brett Gillard. As Penrith go onto the attack, they're not down and out yet. Alexander using Mark Bell. Mackay angles back in, stands in a tackle. Freeman supports. Alexander's still there. Alexander away from another. He's down to the 10-metre line. And Greg Alexander, oh! What happened to McGaw? We might have to come back to that. Freeman with a floating pass. Cartwright is with it. He puts the kick in. It came off South and then back to them. And it's play on according to Annesley. Tyron Smith. Thought maybe the touch judge would come in to say something about the Alexander and McGaw incident.
Well, he got up very quickly, Mark McGaw, as Craig Field up the middle of the ruck, steps, beats Freeman, no, can't, got one leg.
This is the incident I was referring to. Alexander tackled, and then there. That's what I thought may have brought something from the touch judge. It didn't, and on replay you can see why.
And more cramp here for Craig Field, but Mark McGaw desperately trying to knock the ball out. Should have been penalised. Alexander should not have reacted. Craig Field, he won't want to miss this last 6.5 minutes.
Hermanson now. Outside the 40-metre line, the Rabbits, they lead by 8. They led by a similar margin in the first half. Then Penrith, they got it together. They led 18-12. Penrith came back to 18-14, and then 2 converted tries. As Matthew Adamson strides across the Sydney Football Stadium. Bell puts him down as Mark Bell comes away from the dummy half position. Mark Bell for Penrith, Jason for South. Cabry has gone on, Tyron Smith is off. And another face out there for Penrith in jumper number 38 for Penrith. He's now come into the game. 40 metres out from their own line with Phil Adamson playing it. Freeman, Alexander, Cartwright wide. Cartwright gets the... Oh, got a pass around the corner. Nalagalagi wishes that he hadn't. Jason Bell is able to get it away. Mellor pulled down by Mackay. Dummy half Trindle. And surging ahead is Cabry now. 25 metres out from the Penrith line. To the blind side, Craig Field picks up Mark McGaw, and McGaw is held by the Penrith defence. 3 or 4 metres inside the 20-metre point. Penrith, one man down. Nalagalagi still receiving attention. Beckett across off the shoulder of Hermanson, and a knock on the advantage for Penrith. But the referee has already decided to put a scrum down.
They're fiery customers, these 2 halfbacks, aren't they? Craig Field, he's had plenty to say out there. Fortunately, he can back it up with his ability. And let's just have a look at this this pass from Cartwright to Naligalagi, and Mark McGaw did not miss.
Oh, we don't know what his name is. He wouldn't know what his name is at the moment, Naligalagi.
Mackay.
Rabbitohs are fired up. I tell you what, you play the final series on a Friday night, you're almost back to win the premiership, the Rabbits.
Naligalagi back into play. 4.5 minutes to go as it comes through Alexander. Then through Phil Adamson. Matt Singh to Matthew Adamson. 30 metres out from his line.
Well, it's been the small men, for some instance, for South Sydney have got them back into this game. Jason Bell has been great tonight, really done well defensively on a lot of occasions, but his running of the football to score 2 tries has been a turning point. Penalty here for Penrith helps their cause, but they're running out of time. And Duncan McRae's been very good in the hooking role for South Sydney as well. Very select in his passing, he's worked hard.
We keep mentioning them. Let's not forget the big guys, Hermanson, Goldspink. They've been gone forward all night. Anthony Cabry, big work rate in attack and defence. It's a very good balanced side all around.
Penrith on the attack now, deep inside South Territory. Singh turning it back inside. I think that's Mark Bell with the ball. 30 metres out from the line. Singh a dummy half. And this is Matthew Adamson again. He might have missed a couple of tackles back at full back. But for the major part of this game, he's been an inspiration to Penrith. Farah. Freeman once more. Alexander, they're crossing the 20-metre line. Phil Adamson, around the corner pass, Taliai. He went for the intercept, and the knock-on will see a scrum fed by Penrith again.
I suppose with 3 minutes left on the clock, trailing by 8, you can almost excuse this kind of pass, but Taliai had have taken that. He had a 90-metre run to the line, unopposed almost. So Penrith now, I don't think they've got enough time left, but they're persevering to put on a 6-pointer.
Freeman running at the defence, taken by David Penner. Freeman ran straight at him, looking, I would imagine, to take him out of the defence line and set up the next play. Then Matthew Adamson is brought down 3 metres out. No marker, goes for it himself. Was he held back? Yes. Penalty goes to Penrith. Farah comes in to take the tap. Alexander. Cartwright. Across now for Phil Adamson. And he's put down a grassing tackle by Craig Field. Picked up by Beckett, given across to Gall. And he's just short of the line by about 3 metres. Penrith desperate for a converted try. And even that would not be enough. As Alexander holds it back, looks for Cartwright off the hip. And Cartwright is taken by concentrated defence. Trindle was one, Doniger another. Farah scoops it up for Phil Adamson. And Phil Adamson held there by 2 Rabbitohs. Still there close to the line. Farah through to Alexander. Then Freeman. And then joining in from behind was Mark Bell. Inside the 10-metre line, Graham Mackay looks for runners. Desperately gets the ball out the back. Matthew Adamson likewise. Freeman then for McNamara. The ball into the air for South. Well, they contested it with themselves, really. There was no need for that, no communication. They come down with the ball, fortunately for them, but watch it. No communication. Cabry and Trindle. But South now with the ball 8 metres out from their own line. We're in the last minute. 4 tries to 3 in favour of South. Taliai tries to beat his man. Lions now. So an opportunity for South, if you look at the Winfield Cup ladder, to leapfrog Canberra, should they be beaten by Brisbane in this round. And that, of course, could see them level up with North Sydney and Manly on 17 points and be equal second on the table. Norths have to play Canterbury. Manly has to play Gold Coast in this round. Seconds remaining as Penrith launch their last vain attempt. I say that with the clock winding down and beating them. Mellor takes an intercept. It's only academic. The Rabbits have won, and their crowd, they rejoice again. What a year it's been for them. 7 wins on the trot for Souths.
Yeah, like we started off really well, and we let in a few easy tries, and we got our heads down, and a bit of individual brilliance by Jason Bell lifted our heads, and we come home strong.
Yeah, the thing is, the South Sydney side are playing with such confidence, you don't really worry who you play. I mean, I look at the table now, you're equal second on the competition ladder. I bet you never thought that would happen.
Yeah, mate, we're just all having a good young bunch of blokes and having a good time. Everyone's enjoying everything. We just come for a laugh and a good time.